Well, would you believe that a week ago I celebrated the early start of spring by shaving my head. This is actually also in preparation for motorcycle season. But then this morning we got a dump of snow and it's supposed to be minus 15 again. So I'm feeling a little bit like I got to wear a toque all the time. I hope you enjoyed our last week's video with Rich. I'm looking forward to getting back in touch with Rich, and I'll keep you up to date with what happens there. Today we're going to do something, and I've got someone that I'm pretty excited to introduce you to. This one is a little closer to my heart, and you know what, I'm looking forward to sharing a story with you again of an exciting, hopeful journey from slavery and bondage to freedom, and I hope it's encouraging to you. Come, join me now. Hey there, what's your name?
Greg.
Tell me a little bit, Greg. Do you live in St. Albert here? Or?
Yep.
How long have you been here?
Pretty much all my life.
And you got a family at all?
Yep.
How old are you?
47.
Tell me a little bit. Tell me a little bit about where you're at today, kind of what you're doing.
Trying to get a job.
And what kind of job?
Construction.
Okay. Have you, growing up, did you, if you were to look back now, what are some things that you would do differently?
I wouldn't have started to drink. I would have stayed in school. I wouldn't have started smoking. I would have left the drugs alone. That's the major things.
Yeah. Do you, looking back now, how long would you say that you've kind of had those things kind of controlling your life?
30 years.
So kind of since you were early teen or something like that?
Yeah.
Do you, how do you handle that today? Like, do you have a lot of regrets? Or are you kind of moving on, or?
I've got lots of regrets. I'm trying to move on. Got a kid, so I got to kind of have smartened up a bit, but still the booze is controlling me.
What would you tell somebody who is an early teen, who's kind of experimenting with stuff, and if you were to sit down with them and they were to ask you for advice, what would you say to them?
Just leave it alone. Don't feel pressured to partake. Don't hang out with people who do. That's about it.
Yeah. If you were to be on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being like just extreme bondage and kind of feeling like a slave, and 10 being an extreme freedom, where would you find yourself right now today?
Probably 4, 3.
Yeah. What do you think are the steps to kind of bring that to a 5 or 6 or 7 or higher?
If I knew, I'd taken them by now.
Yeah. Do you have a supportive family?
Yeah. I just don't make use of that. I don't know why. Well, it's because of the slavery.
Yeah. Anything else, if you think back kind of to your the last 30 years, things that you if you pondered on that, things that you would do differently or want to do again?
Like I said, stayed in school. Made use of my family when I had more freedom to do so. Would have stayed away from the people that kind of encouraged me to get this way. Just used more of this family support that was there.
How old, if you don't mind me asking, how old's your son?
10. Yeah, it'll be 11 right away.
What would you want differently for your son if you look back at what you were like when you were 10?
I had it pretty good when I was 10. Yeah.
Awesome. Right on. Well, thanks, Greg. Well, I don't know if you could tell by the facial similarities, but Greg is my older brother, and growing up, my childhood was quite full of seeing Greg rebel, seeing Greg make a lot of really bad choices, seeing the cops bring Greg home at all times of night, dropping in and out of school, leaving the house in anger, often lots of fights between my dad and him. And now, 30 years later, seeing him where he's at, he's no further ahead today than he was when he was 15 years old. And it's caused me years of sadness for my brother, and I've really looked forward to seeing some victory in his life and seeing him experience freedom. So my hope is that him being able to share his story a little bit and being vulnerable and transparent with you will give him the encouragement to start his road to freedom. And slowly he's open to the idea, and has been healing in relationships. And the number one thing he needs to do, he needs some spiritual transformation, as well as he needs to get a hold of his addictions and have victory over those, and that'll be a big start on his road to freedom. I encourage you to consider how it has impacted his relationships, his relationship with his almost 11-year-old son, our parents, and me, and as a brother. So I encourage you to take what you can learn from Greg's story on your journey from some sort of bondage and slavery to freedom. Blessings to you. Take care and bye for now. Well, I have something to share with you. I was just about to actually get this video all fired up and ready to go, and I got a call from a friend of my brother's, and he was taken into the hospital a few days ago. I think maybe you saw in this interview, he's out looking for work, and actually he just wrote an exam to go get a job in the construction industry, but he got admitted to the hospital, and he's been in critical care the last few days. And apparently he has an enlarged heart with weakened heart walls, some lung issues, and he was on the edge of a massive stroke. No kidding. My brother was in very, very bad shape. The doctors have told him that if he intends to smoke or drink at all anymore, he must just leave the hospital right now and go die, because that will kill him. And there's no point in them putting him on medication. He's going to have to be on medication the rest of his life. He will never be able to work another labor job again. So he's not sure what to do. That's the only kind of work he's ever done. I've been waiting 30 years for my brother to hit rock bottom and to discover that he is living a life of bondage, the epitome of bondage. And in order to live a life of freedom, he has to have a drive within himself and a desire for change. Well, I'm hoping and praying that this now, with him laying in the hospital room even right now, hating where he's at and regretting all the things that he's done. So if any of you have experienced rock bottom, or maybe you are needing to experience a rock bottom yet, to really get that drive to go from the life of bondage and slavery to that life of freedom, I pray that it'll happen without destroying you. My brother's physical life it looks like it's in shambles, but there's so much more, his spiritual life, his intellectual life. So anyhow, just a quick update. It was rather interesting timing. So take care, God bless, and we'll talk to you again in a couple weeks. Bye for now.